Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Trent. This is Rams Talk, coming at you with a live stream right before the Rams play the Chicago Bears tonight. I see a lot of people here already in the chat room. Rams House, Rude Dog 69, LA Rams, DXNES. I never know how to say that. Shane Hackett, what's up? Brian Smith, how's it going, everyone? Yeah, I can't wait for tonight. Also, just saw the Jared Goff pick six against the Niners. I mean, just different year, same Jared Goff against the 49ers. When Jared Goff fans said like, "Hey, Jared Goff isn't that bad," I'm like, "Yeah, he's not that bad, but he just throws so many pick sixes, especially against the 49ers." Um, wow, Niners fan for life. That's kind of weird. He's saying, "Let's go Rams." Mario Alvarez, what's up, everyone? It's really good to be back. And I just kind of, since I hadn't released any Rams videos kind of during the preseason and in training camp, I just wanted to kind of go over some general thoughts, and especially leading into this game, also with, Bears stuff, talking about Bears. But first, let me just say I had a few of the folks here. The appendix, what's going on? Sean Pittman, Matt Gates is a pedophile. Yeah, got out of Goff's contract. We did it. Michael Turns, Josh, King Easy. What's going on, King Easy? Michael Jessica Gomez. What's up, Ray Masanori? Kishihara. Brian Smith again. Yeah, so really happy to be back. Thank you for joining the live stream and talking Rams today. Yeah, it's really good to be back. I've been thinking that, just letting you guys know, I've been thinking about Rams this whole time, but just hard to get around to making content for it. So I'm really stoked to be doing this now. I'm really in the zone, and there's a lot of things I've been thinking about that didn't make the Bears preview, but just general thoughts about this Rams team heading into this season. And I think I'll just get into it, and we can kind of go. Maybe I'll just start with offense or defense first, actually, because I feel like I have way more questions about our defense. And the number one thing is just Raheem Morris, right? And so when you hear about Raheem Morris, you just hear like, he's a great guy. He's a really good football guy. He's a smart guy. He's done so many things in the NFL. He's still very young. He's been a head coach. He's been different coaches for different positions. But I honestly, I worry a little bit. I don't think he's going to try and change too much. He's going to add his flavor to this Rams defense. But I think what really set the Rams defense apart last year was Brandon Staley himself. It was his concept. He understood it forwards and backwards. He could articulate everything. Like he was completely dialed in to that concept and what made that concept unique compared to, I guess, the traditional Vic Fangio concept. And so, I think also I mentioned before how there were always in-game adjustments, especially at the halftime of last year. I didn't get a chance to look it up, but I know that opponents' points scored in the second half was far less than it was in the first half, and it's because Brandon Staley was making those adjustments. Now, I don't know what Raheem Morris is as a defensive coordinator of this team, but I find it hard to believe that he would be better than Brandon Staley. Who knows? He could surprise, but I think he can definitely be competent with it. But it's not his baby, if that makes sense, right? He just doesn't get it 100% like Brandon Staley does. Can he make those adjustments? Can he put people in position to succeed? There, John Johnson isn't there, so I know that's a big difference. But anyways, that's my general thing. I really feel like everyone has positive things about Raheem Morris, which I'm sure are true, but I just am curious to know from an X's and O's and a philosophy standpoint if he can do it to the level of what the Rams had last year. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a big question mark. Also along the defense, there is the John Johnson replacement, which is, I mean, really, it's full. Jordan Fuller is now John Johnson, but also, Taylor Rapp will be back there. But Terrell Burgess, I think really the battle of the third cornerback slot is really going to be interesting. I mentioned it before, but David Long, Terrell Burgess, that's going to really tell us a lot as this game goes on and the season progresses. Who's really winning that? Because who do they have on the outside of Darius Williams and Jalen Ramsey? So if they move Ramsey into the slot, then David Long has to be on the outside. Can Terrell Burgess play on the outside? Rochelle, is Rochelle really going to take off this year? So very interested in that. There's one position group that I'm actually very excited for, very positively. And that's inside linebacker. We finally have a lot of depth there. We have 4 guys. I mean, Micah Kaiser, RIP on the practice squad. But when you have Kenny Young, who I feel is really going to bring it this year, and rave reviews about how he's just improved a lot. And I think if he can be that coverage inside linebacker, then that's going to be huge for the Rams. Troy Reeder, actually, he was remember people thought he was a joke 2 years ago. And last year, for what he does, he's not a coverage linebacker, but he can really fill the gaps. And I think that if he can do that, he'll be fine. Ernest Jones is going to come on strong, and Traven Howard, we don't even know. They'll probably ease him in. So you really have such a nice rotation of inside linebacker last year. Last year, they were super thin. They really had 3 guys, and Micah Kaiser was injured for a lot. And so it really came down to Reeder and Kenny Young for the most of it. So I think it's really going to be interesting to see those 4. I think that's a very positive development for this team, something different compared to how they were last year. And then obviously the defensive line, Ashawn Robinson will play. But on those outside linebackers, Leonard Floyd, we know Leonard Floyd's going to bring it. I think this game he's going to really bring it against the Bears. I think he had 2 sacks last year. But it's the other side. It's the Justin Hollins side, and Obo before he was injured, and Terrell Lewis. So really interested to see also that outside linebacker side with Justin Hollins, because I think he really did a solid job in his rotation last year. So anyways, let me get into some of the comments here. So NFC West is looking scary. Yeah, I've been watching some of this on Red Zone, and I mean, they're just bombing it out to Tyler Lockett. Seattle is. And then you have, San Francisco's playing Detroit. So what are you going to do? And Arizona is just manhandling the Titans. And I did not expect that. I mean, Arizona could this be the year that Arizona's putting it all together? Chandler Jones is healthy. You have JJ Watt in there. AJ Green is still, not bad, but he's not old school AJ Green. And, I think, 2 more years, or Isaiah Simmons now 2nd year. It'll be very interesting to see, but it all comes down to Cliff Kingsbury. But yeah, NFC West is looking very scary. I mean, man. So what's up, Bill? Always good to see Bill. And that's AMS there. How you doing, Bill? Josh, you're worried about a running game. So yeah, let me flip it over to our offense now. I mean, the running game. Okay, let's just talk about Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel. Which, in hindsight, with the Rams trading for Sony Michel was a very shrewd move, because not only did you really just they gave up 2 picks, but one of them will be a compensatory pick that they'll most likely get back if Sony Michel has a good year and signs elsewhere. So it's pretty much a wash on that. So they just gave up 1 late round pick for Sony Michel, which, I mean, if you look at Sony Michel's numbers from his first 2 seasons, last year was a very injury-plagued year for him. I know I had him in fantasy, but his first 2 years, he amassed almost 2,000 yards combined. He has 13 touchdowns. He's a good player. He's young. So I feel really. And you look at Baltimore lost their running backs. They would love to have Sony Michel right now. So I think getting Sony Michel when we did was a very shrewd move, and the way that we flipped that trade was also very smart by Les Snead. So because I honestly was nervous thinking it's Darrell Henderson, Xavier Jones at the time, Jake Funk. Those are our 3 running backs. I'm like, oof. Not because I don't believe in those guys, but especially with Darrell Henderson. I mean, the dude has never proven, well, he's had 2 years. He hasn't proven that he's durable for 16 games for, 250 carries in a season, right? So, I mean, you're gambling with that. You're taking a massive leap of faith that he can be that every down, every game back for you on a team that really likes to run the ball. So, that was, if you could have said, hey, Darrell Henderson will lock in 250 plus carries for him and he won't get injured, maybe some little dings and dents, then I'd be like, oh, cool. I will totally roll with that because last year, Darrell Henderson, when he played, was really good. I mean, I don't think any of us looked at any of the games last year and thought, oh gosh, Darrell Henderson, well, that's rough. Like, it wasn't like, the Jets running back situation or anything like that, or the Falcons. So I really like Darrell Henderson. And I think one thing that Matthew Stafford will bring to the Rams team is the receiving element of the running back game. So I think Darrell Henderson will actually catch a lot of passes this year. So, but just in case, let's say they would just want to keep him on 15 carries a game, right? Then Sony Michel can get 10, and that's fine because I think you just keep them both fresh. 15 carries here, 10 carries there. I actually feel really good about that because while I think Cam Akers, I was devastated when I found out that Cam Akers ruptured his Achilles. Like that was really tough because I was just thinking, man, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, our receivers, Matthew Stafford. I mean, our offense is completely loaded. And then when Cam Akers went down, I just thought, oh God, like, man, that really takes it away. I mean, I feel for Cam Akers, feel for my fantasy team. So I had him all primed as a keeper. But, then I thought, okay, then Darrell Henderson. And this is Darrell Henderson's shot. Like this is his time to do it. So, it's all about opportunities. So anyway, yeah, I feel good about our running backs. I think Sony Michel, I think it's like one of those things people just completely forget about Sony Michel. And 2 years ago, Sony Michel was a very good player for the Patriots. 3 years ago, he was as well. So I'm really, really stoked about that. And another guy that everyone has really forgotten about, and not you guys, but just in general, is Van Jefferson, right? Van Jefferson, remember his rookie year in training camp? Everyone was like, oh, he's going to, like, why is Josh Reynolds still, getting the third receiver slot? Like, that doesn't, what's up with that? Because Van Jefferson, Raven, he was the new shiny thing. And then the year goes on and, he has a small impact, but not really in the playoffs. He catches a touchdown. Josh Reynolds moves on, and it's like we forget about Van Jefferson. We talk about Woods, we talk about Kupp, we talk about Deshaun Jackson, talk about Tutu Atwell, and it's like, oh yeah, Van Jefferson is still on this team. Last year, Josh Reynolds had 81 targets. Van Jefferson had 31 targets. So it's very conceivable that Van Jefferson could get 50 more targets this year. He's already gelling with Matthew Stafford, so that's a good thing. But I think, forgetting about Van Jefferson, I think he could actually have a really good game against the Bears and actually a really good season, the whole season. I mean, everyone's sleeping on Van Jefferson. Last year, everyone was hot and heavy over Van Jefferson. So I think, and going into this game against the Bears, I touched on it in my game preview, but what the Rams, I think, will present to a lot of teams is exposure to other teams' secondary. And last year, when I looked at whoever the Rams played, and I kind of felt the same way, like, wow, this team secondary is not that great. The Rams should really expose it. They couldn't because of Jared Goff, right? The receivers get open. That's not an issue, but Goff just was not throwing the ball to them down the field, and there you go. But in this, like, against the Bears, they have one good corner, Jalen Johnson. The rest are total unproven guys. They have a really good safety in Eddie Jackson. But what are they going to do? Let's just say you have Kupp, Woods, Van Jefferson, and Deshaun Jackson on the field at the same time with Higbee in there, right? So do they have the depth? Like their fourth cornerback is going to have to be on the field. And are you telling me that their fourth cornerback is better than, can really keep up with Deshaun Jackson or Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods or Van Jefferson, however they align? I think that's going to present problems for teams this whole season because we don't have Jared Goff anymore. We have Matthew Stafford throwing the ball. So I think the Rams will present mismatches in the receiving game pretty much week in and week out, unless other teams have, it's like going against the Bucs. You're going to guard Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. Then you have Scotty Miller. I mean, like, it's just weapons upon weapons upon weapons. And so teams really have to come correct, especially with their secondary against the Rams, because Stafford isn't going to play, right? So I think that, that was my Van Jefferson parlayed into the Rams spreading out their receivers. So let me check in with you guys here. So get to see Stafford run this offense. Hopefully he can spread with the weapons he has. I think he is. I mean, I'm not so worried about Stafford in general. I think like most Rams teams on their first game of the year, they're a little rusty. But I feel like Stafford, I mean, he's going to click. Like McVay was the teacher, Goff was the student. And that was how that whole relationship was. That's how, I mean, that's what you heard all the time in the media. That's how you kind of felt. But with McVay and Stafford, it's like they're both on the same level in a way. McVay doesn't have to like go in there and be like, okay, Matthew, come on. This is how we're doing this. You got to look for this. Come on, come on, come on. Stafford's going to be a step ahead of it. So I think we're all just totally pumped about this. Did people forget that Henderson like one less rushing yard than Akers? No, I think people did. I'm excited to see what Henderson is going to do. Also, we have good contrasting running style. Michelle, A to the Jizza 70. That's an extremely good point, because what they already, and this goes back, a lot of this reporting was done by Jordan Rodriguez of The Athletic. If you don't subscribe to The Athletic, you better subscribe to The Athletic. And also, everyone, hit that thumbs up so we can send this live stream out to the universe on YouTube. But Cam Akers was more of an inside power gap runner. Darrell Henderson was more of an outside zone runner. Basically, outside zone means you kick it outside, one cut in, and then you can also make another cut on the secondary or the third level when you get there. So that's why they were thinking of bringing in Corbett to be the center and have Bobby Evans at right guard, because they wanted to get a little heavier for the Cam Akers running it, like the power running game that Cam Akers was more proficient at. With Cam Akers going out, then you're thinking, okay, now we're going back to the zone scheme, which Brian Allen fits that. That's why they drafted him. And Corbett at right guard. Okay. So that kind of, gets that going. But Sony Michel's more in the Cam Akers mold. So, I think they can go back to that original plan in terms of the running styles. But in terms of the offensive line, I think, this is a huge – I mean, I really want to say everything kind of hinges on Brian Allen. Because if Brian Allen 2021 is like Brian Allen 2019, it's going to get ugly quick. Because Brian Allen 2019 – and then let's just go back in the time machine. But in the 2018 draft, I think that's when they drafted Noteboom and Brian Allen. That's when Sullivan and Roger Saffold, it was their last year with the Rams. The Rams go into Soldier Field, lose 15-6 to the Bears. John Sullivan gets bullied by Akeem Hicks, and you start to see the decline of John Sullivan in that year. 2019, okay, now we're going to put in Noteboom at left guard, Brian Allen at center. Both played pretty terribly and get injured in like week 7 or 8 or 9 and out for the rest of the season. 2020, last year, Brian Allen's the first, I think, NFL player that got COVID, but that didn't really like knock him out so much. But then he suffered injuries and he didn't play the whole year. So all we have of Brian Allen is like that 6 to 8 game sample size that we're not good. We're not good at all. I mean, people coming into this year, people thought, wow, he could be a roster cut. But then, and they say, hey, we're going to put Bobby Evans out there and move Corbett in, and that's how we're going to do it. Then you hear all of a sudden that Brian Allen is really kicking ass in training camp, and the Rams don't draft the center. So then he's kicking ass in training camp, and it looks like he's going to take the center position and move Corbett back to right guard. And I got the feeling, I really like, that I think there are multiple things that can be true, but I think that is true. But I also, the fact that Bobby Evans played in like every preseason game said a lot to me. I think it was a combination of Brian Allen playing very well, getting back healthy and having a chip on his shoulder. I think it was also Bobby Evans not playing well. And I think it was also thinking, well, Austin Corbett, since we're going to be running a more outside zone, Austin Corbett was our guard for that. That's his best position. So putting the best 5 offensive linemen out there, that's obviously, you got the left side of Whitworth and Edwards, but now Brian Allen and Corbett, and then obviously Havenstein. Those are the best 5. So I think that really speaks to kind of committing to that outside zone. But I mean, those guys can also do some of the power run blocking concepts as well. So, anyways, that's kind of my abbreviated what the hell happened with our offensive line. But I mean, Darrell Henderson did play extremely well last year when he was in. And that was also that Jamal Adams hit on him going on the sideline against Seattle in that second Seattle game, I think, where we lost. The second game against them, the one where we lost. Hey, Trevor, thanks for saying that. It's good to be back. I missed all you guys. I mean, now it's the machine's been turned on. So now I'm in full Rams mode. It's going to be like that. I think I got a hat. I got a couple hats, actually. I ordered them. A couple people commented. This one is my favorite one that they've released. Just got this off their web shop. If you guys are interested in that, that's where I got it. It's mesh with the adjustable back. I got another one just because I don't know, but it fits weird. And it's this one just with I wanted to get the ram head, but they didn't have that in stock. And that's a fitted one, but it just fits kind of weird. I guess I have to wear it in first. Otherwise it just looks like way too big for me right now. Anyways, those are the new Rams things I'm rocking. Yeah, I hope our O-line protects our QB as well. Rude Dog 69. Shane, I picked up Michelle for the flex spot on my fantasy team. I think he could have a big year. I totally agree. I mean, the Rams are going to run the ball, and they need 2 guys. So I think that's a good idea. I'm in this crazy new fantasy league that's a super flex. So basically, that means you have 2 flex spots, and one of them can be a quarterback. But it's also a dynasty team, and you have 25 roster spots. So in that league, I took Darrell Henderson, Cam Akers, and Sony Michel. So essentially, I locked down the Rams running backs for this year and then next year. So, yeah, Sony Michel's going to have a good year, guys. Because, I mean, Darrell Henderson let's say Darrell Henderson just gets knocked out for like a game, 2 games. Sony Michel's the guy, and he can do it. So I think that Sony Michel's a wise pickup, even if you don't have Darrell Henderson. Who do I feel is going to have a breakout season on the offense and defense? I think Van Jefferson's going to break out on the offense. I think he's really the only guy, unless Darrell Henderson does. So but I really feel Van Jefferson's the guy. And then on defense, I think it's going to be – I think Jordan Fuller qualified as – he was the breakout last year, I feel. We all know who he is and how awesome he is, so not really breaking out there. But I want to say probably Terrell Burgess. I mean, they drafted Terrell Burgess to be the Troy Hill replacement. Kevin Demoff said that on a podcast. So even though David Long is there and he's technically a cornerback and Burgess is technically a defensive back, he's like a hybrid safety cornerback. I feel like Terrell Burgess is the guy. But I also wouldn't be surprised. I think Justin Hollins and but I'm gonna go with Terrell Burgess, and I'm gonna go with Van Jefferson, 2 second-round guys. Also, Kenny Young. I think Kenny Young is really gonna step it up this year. I mean, I don't know. I'm all over the place, but I think a lot of guys are really gonna step in and do very well. Stafford will love Higbee. If Higbee doesn't have drops, yeah, big year for Higbee. I mean, honestly, you just pick all the Rams receivers in their tight ends. They're gonna have a great year. Stafford stays healthy this year. This is going to be a pretty epic year of throwing the football for the Rams. And, Stafford loves tight ends. Higbee can do it. You see Gerald Everett catch a touchdown for the Seahawks. And I kind of felt that Gerald Everett would have a big year this year only because the Seahawks really do utilize their tight end, I think, a lot more than the Rams do. And he's good as a receiver when he dropped, unless he's dropping it. I have a sleepy feeling about Van and Jacob Harris. McVay seems super cagey about Harris after that first preseason game. Yeah, I mean, I think Harris will be deployed more in specific packages. I don't think he's going to get a lot of snaps, but I think you could see him in the red zone a lot. But I mean, he's super fast. I mean, this is just the great thing. The Rams have so many options. They have so many weapons that they can use. And there's going to be some guys are going to get banged up. So what if Cup misses a game, Woods misses a game, and Cup missed the game last year because of I think COVID at the end. So what if some of these guys, what if Higbee is dinged up like he was last year? Some guys are going to step in and have to play some snaps. But I mean, I think McVay can just do so many things, and I expect him to be really good in the red zone. Finessed Foreign, welcome back, baby. It's season time. I hear you. I hear the game's on at 2:20 in the morning, and I just, I'm not going to stay up for it because I do have to work the next day. But the thing is, whenever the Rams play on like a primetime game and I can't watch it live, I don't sleep well. And I'll wake up like it's crazy. Like my body knows. And I wake up every like hour and I just check my phone to see the score. And then my mind's like racing, like, oh God, what's going on? I want to see it. And then I go back to bed and then, I get terrible sleep at the end. So maybe I should just watch it. Stafford will love, oh, got that. It's just AJ. Oh, A to the J. Car is Jizza 70 Supra. All right. Old username, refuse to change that. I hear you. If it's working, don't break it. I'll just call you A to the J. A to the Jizza. Darian Gerardo. I'm worried about our division. They all look really good. Yeah. I mean, this is tough. The NFC West is going to be tough. But I mean, like, let's just be honest here. The Seahawks should beat the Colts. The Niners should beat the Lions. I mean, I'd pick those games straight up, even with points. The Cardinals doing what they're doing, though, to Tennessee, that's something. So I don't know if Tennessee was sleeping on them. I think Cardinals are coming out hot. The one thing about the Cardinals I will say this year is I think that by their offensive line has improved, but I think J.J. Watt, the addition of J.J. Watt is huge, is really the team was missing leadership, I think, more than anything, especially on the defensive side of the ball, with Chandler Jones being out. So you get some real leaders in that locker room, and I think that can make a drastic difference because they have a lot of talent. Rams are good too. Yeah, they are. I mean, everyone's picking the Rams. Yeah, I hate when hats fit like that too, but it usually just takes some wearing in. Then it'll be good. I want to just go to SoFi and go to the team store and just wait, check everything see how it fits there. It's going to be a tough season divisionally, but I have faith in our Rams. Yeah, me too. The Seahawks, I think, are going to be sleepy dangerous. I think it's going to come down to Rams and Seahawks, to be honest. Not taking anything away from the 49ers. They have a very talented roster, but I just, the quarterback situation in San Francisco is, I think, if Garoppolo gets knocked out or he's benched and Trey Lance is in there, I mean, I just don't. I think the Rams against Trey Lance for 2 games, right? And then again, the Rams against Nick Mullins or CJ Beathard, we didn't do well there. Could have had Creed Humphreys. Yeah, could have had Creed Humphreys. And that's the thing. I think, we'll know like 2 years from now how that was. But I think, to be honest, I think taking a center probably would have been better than Tutu. But I mean, here's the thing. What would be great, and you guys, I'm sure, are all on board with this, but just bombs away. Like, can you imagine sending Jacob Harris, Deshaun Jackson, and Tutu Atwell, like having those guys all in the field at the same time, like the speed that those guys bring, that will really stress out defenses. And last year what happened, you guys all know this, but the Rams, Jared Goff did not throw the ball down the field, so teams just condensed on them, right? But they can't do that this year. And they have a quarterback who knows what he's doing. So that sounds super fun and time consuming. Oh, sorry. I don't know what you're talking about, Shane. I think it's just something I said. Driving 7 hours to see them play next week. Nice. Next week they're playing in Indy. So, okay. So you're in the Midwest. That's cool. Awesome. Bring some Rams energy to that game. Michael Turns, I bet every NFC West team makes the playoffs. I was thinking about it. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that, but like the Cardinals are better than the Giants, the Eagles, who else am I missing in that? The Washington football team. I think people are a little too high on them right now. Other divisions in the NFC, I mean, the Saints are kind of like one of the wild card teams I have. But we'll see. We'll see. Raheem's X's and O's are very similar to his predecessors from what I've seen. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what does Raheem Morris bring? Like, is he just kind of, I just do a little bit of what everyone's doing? Or does, like I know he prefers the prototypical length and height and weight of certain positions, especially defensive linemen and outside linebackers. But, like there, Brandon Staley is unique. Raheem Morris never did what Brandon Staley did. Brandon Staley did what Brandon Staley did. And you're not gonna that's not who Raheem Morris is. I mean, it kind of makes him out to be more of like a rah-rah, just like, I just inspire people guy. I'm sure he knows his fair share of X's and O's. I don't want to take that away from him, but I just, when the Rams hired Brandon Staley, Sean McVay was told, go out and find the next young cutting edge defensive person. And that was Brandon Staley. The next cutting edge defensive person is not Raheem Morris. So I don't want to bash Raheem, but and who knows, the Rams could be lights out this year on defense, but it's not the same. That's all I'm saying. Let's build together with Gio Capistrano. I'll build with you, Gio. What's up with the Goff and the Lions at 32-10? I mean, come on. It's Goff and the Lions. It's Jared Goff and the Lions. And I don't want to rip Jared Goff too much. Like, honestly, I am appreciative of Jared Goff, but he turned, it's like being in a relationship. And after like many years, it's like, who's this person I married? I don't recognize them anymore. That's Jared Goff. He turned into a turnover, afraid to throw the ball downfield guy. That's what he turned into. Yes, he was good enough to be on a talented team and lead them, or lead them to 10 wins last year, but that's just tough. It's just tough. 31-10, yeah. Hey, I get you. Hoffnung, damn, I feel you. Having these games so late here in Germany, it's going to be a good game, though. Good to have you in the season back. Hey, Hoffnung, where are you? Where are you in Deutschland? Wo bist du? And are you staying up for this? A to the J, how confident are you in Tutu returning? It was devastatingly nerve-wracking when Webster returned it. Tutu is pretty small. I hope he can be more durable, but I'm definitely positive. Yeah, I mean, Tutu's electric, and I think he just needs to go north and south. I think if they said Tutu is returning kicks, I think that would help us wrap our heads around why they picked them where they picked them. I mean, they had JoJo Natson returning kicks, and I don't think Tutu's smaller than him, which is saying something for how small JoJo Natson was, but I'm down with it. I mean, the fact that like we're rolling into the season, and maybe they always knew who their returners would be, right? But the fact that this is still like a question mark, like last year we were getting Cooper Kupp and Nasimba Webster, and you're just like, what's going on? How do we not think about this? Like, you just, oh yeah, we got to put someone out there. So, yeah, the fantasy league I'm in, Shane Hackett, got it. Let's see, where was that? Yeah, super fun. It wasn't time consuming. It was like one of those drafts where you just like everyone gets around to their pick when they get around to it. It took like a week, so it was fine. But I'm only in 3 leagues this year, not too bad, and I've been in 2 of them forever. But it's fun. Yeah, I'm stoked. It's good to get into like a dynasty league like at year 1 instead of taking someone's team over. Welcome back. Hey, what's up, Willie Luckett? Hey, I'm glad to give you some good Rams content, but I'm also happy to I guess in like the last year, some other guys have gone on the YouTube scene. So there's Rams House, who was in the thread. I don't know if he still is. Awesome kid from Colorado, and collaborated with him. He's great. Payo Time is good, and he's in Canada. Jake Ellenbogen, I'm sure you guys know about him. He's always bringing it. He's transitioned to YouTube, so he's out there cranking it. And then Rams House TV. Those guys are really, really strong on Instagram. You can get a lot of their stuff. But I mean, I think the Rams content creator pool of people is really taken off, and that's awesome to see because that you look at other teams and they have tons of YouTubers, so it's like you just have stuff all the time. You can really go for it. So I'm glad that while I've been out of commish for the last couple of months, that there have been other guys doing stuff all the time. So um, yeah, in Essen near Dusseldorf in North Rhine-Westphalia. Ooh, yeah, were you okay during the floods? But as you gotta get up early for work as well, so I got to watch the summary in my break. Ah, okay. Yep. Yep, that's the yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I don't have any meetings for work. Don't tell anyone. So I'm gonna watch the game as I'm working in the morning. But yeah, Hoffnung. I mean, this is how it is. I mean, honestly, primetime games are great in general for the Rams, but not for everyone living in Europe. It really is tough. But yeah, if I was just no kids, living the single life, I'd stay up till 2 o'clock, no worries. Play all three QBs. It's a shame to see that talent sitting on the bench. Well, I mean, Bryce Perkins, I think, will be a really good change of pace guy, and especially whenever they're game planning against mobile quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, they're playing this year, Kyler Murray twice a year, Trey Lance. Bryce Perkins can really be that practice squad guy that can really kind of mirror what those other teams are doing. But it's a good problem to have. I mean, I can't remember the last time the Rams had a good backup. Mark Bulger was the last good backup quarterback the Rams had. VJ Van Jefferson will be a force in the red zone, precise, stick hands, fearless. Yeah, I even like Van Jefferson, and that's a good comment, Daniel. I like Van Jefferson. I think he's going to even stretch the field. When he was at the Senior Bowl, he had the fastest playtime clocked with his GPS. They had other guys there that were I can't remember in that draft, like Henry Ruggs, or there were other guys who were just faster vertical, straight line 40-yard dash. But then there was play speed, when you're in the game. Van Jefferson had the fastest speed, so I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. Not us, but other people. Do you think McVay gets outcoached too often? I don't think so. I think that we're going to see a lot fewer timeouts called early in the games this year by McVay, because I think a lot of those were Jared Goff related. Honestly, I don't think those were all McVay's. I think he did some stupid challenges, to be honest, but I think his coaching has actually been pretty sound, and there aren't too many things I'd want back. I think every coach makes some mistakes, but I think he hasn't really been outcoached. I mean, and Belichick obviously outcoached him, but it doesn't happen too often. I mean, look at the Rams' record. So, he's winning way more than he's losing. So I don't think he gets outcoached that often. Do you think that? What part of Germany am I in? I'm in just outside of Hanover, the northern part. So yeah, if you basically north central Germany, about hour and a half south of Hamburg, straight down for the most part. Yep. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool out here. We've got a little countryside action. Do you think Aaron Donald would be better utilized as an edge rusher because it would be more difficult to double team him? I don't think so, because I think he's so quick with his burst, and I think that the thing that disrupts quarterbacks the most is pressure up the middle. And if you are constantly bringing pressure up the middle, I mean, you're right in the quarterback's view. It's a quicker path or a shorter path to the quarterback. But also, if he's demanding these double and triple teams, then that should really free up one-on-ones or other favorable matchups for Leonard Floyd and Justin Hollins and Terrell Lewis and different guys, Sebastian Joseph Day. So I think it really just puts the onus on other players to make plays. Where's the best place to dump a body in Hanover? I mean, there's tons of fields and lakes out here, so I guess anywhere out there. Mhm. That's kind of morbid. I never thought about that. Essen didn't get hit hard. Fortunately, crazy weather though, at least for German standards. Yeah, yeah. Um, it's so funny though. People back in the states when the floods were happening were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "You really have no concept of geography and of Germany, right?" Because I live nowhere close to that. It's like Hurricane Ida happens, and people call you like, "Hey, you guys in California okay from the hurricane?" It's like that's on the other side of the country. Anyways, there's some geography for everyone. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. And when it comes to the Bears today, I really just anything can happen. And I know that a lot of times we've been very spoiled and our expectations are super high, and we expect that the Rams will like just completely destroy every team and should win every game. And I think especially in the 2019 season, we or 2018 season, we would have a close game with someone, or we'd win by 6 points, and we'd be like, "What the hell, Rams?" But I think the Bears could win this game, right? Their defense could play like amazing. Matthew Stafford could melt down. There could be some fumbles, um, right? But I just honestly, and I mean, Andy Dalton is not terrible. He's not terrible. He's a competent quarterback. He's not. He doesn't have it, and he's probably just a very solid backup at this point. But he's your bridge quarterback. He's your Ryan Fitzpatrick in a way, and I just don't see the Rams losing to an Andy Dalton led team. I mean, you have to. The Rams have a better offense. They have a better offensive line. They have a better group of receivers. They have better. I'd say David Montgomery is a very good running back. So I want to say that they're running. The Bears' running game might be better than the Rams right now, but it's very very close. Um, and the quarterback, it's not even a question who's better, right? So there's that. Then on defense, I think the Bears' defense is very good defense. Jalen Johnson, like I said, Eddie Jackson, Akeem Hicks, Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith. They have Ogletree, they have Robert Quinn. They've got some other guys too that are fairly good. So I mean, their defense is good. It is good, but I mean, our two cornerbacks are better than their best cornerback. Are both of our safeties are better than both of their like combined. I think Eddie Jackson's probably the best, but Jordan Fuller is. I mean, Bears fans don't know about him. They just think Eddie Jackson's the only thing that ever existed in this world, only safety that ever existed. I think their middle linebackers are better. Khalil Mack is better than Leonard Floyd. Honestly, let's just call it what it is. But our defensive line is better than theirs. I mean, Akeem Hicks is good, but Aaron Donald, Sebastian Joseph Day, Ashawn Robinson. So I think the defense is more evenly matched, but I think we just have more depth at most of the positions there. So I would, this is a game the Rams should really win and command. I mean, because like I said, what can the Bears do to the Rams offense that Matthew Stafford's going to have trouble with the running game that he has, if the offensive line melts down? I think that's really how the Rams lose this game, is if the offensive line melts down and we turn the ball over too many times. That's how the Bears win this game. So, Zeno de Goat. For some reason, I have a feeling we're going to trade for a star player mid-season. I mean, for picks in year 2024, 25. Excuse me. So I don't know how much draft capital we have to give up now. I mean, it depends on what we really need, right? So I don't know what we need. Also, we haven't even talked about special teams. Feel good about Matt Gay, Johnny Hecker, parlayed Bajorquez into a 6th round pick, which is pretty awesome. Our coverage should hopefully be a lot better. I feel good about the coverage units. So I just don't know who we get mid-season. I guess it depends if we have like a devastating injury to a star player, but I just don't know. I guess we'll know, like a good 4 to 6 games into the season, kind of like who's performing well, who isn't. I still think we need another strong DT or DE to intimidate the opposing OL so Donald can free up and get more one-on-ones. Want to see 80 tear up the sack record. Yeah, I mean, what if this? Like, I don't think this is going to happen. There's a long shot, but just like, what if Terrell Lewis, his knee was just magically healed and he was great and he could play half the defensive snaps of every game, right? I mean, now we're talking about a beast. Like, or imagine if he and Leonard Floyd were the two guys, fully healthy knee, no problem. Here's a question I also have for you guys. What if Terrell Lewis went up to you and said, listen, I'll exchange my knee for yours. No procedure, just like a magic swap of knees for $2 million. So you're going to get his like arthritic or whatever, his Todd Gurley knee, and you get $2 million, right? Would you live the rest of your life like that? Would it even matter if you're just like sitting at a desk all day? Interesting question. But yeah, I could see some pass rush help. Bears are going to bring it. Media hypes up the Rams so much. Other teams play us. It's like the Super Bowl. I do think we are going to step it up this season with offense this year. Yeah, Bears are going to bring it. I mean, it's the first game. I think they are going to bring it. But I mean, like, what if the Rams? Like, I could see Andy Dalton getting sacked a couple times, throwing an interception. I mean, I think that could happen. But their defense, can their defense really step it up? Matthew Stafford's 11-9 against the Bears. He beat them last year, threw 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in their last game, a come-from-behind win by the Lions. So if the Lions can beat the Bears, I mean, it's last season, so it's a new year, new things, new vibe, everything. But still, Matthew Stafford knows the Bears pretty well. They know him pretty well, but they don't know him with the Rams. So I think there's a little bit of a question mark. I think there's more of a question mark for the Bears defense against the Rams offense. Like, they don't know how the Rams offense is really going to be. Like, we don't know what it's going to be. Whereas I think we know what the Bears defense is going to be, but it'll be a little different because it's new coordinator. Watch it all in the preview video I did. But the Todd Gurley knee, man, that guy just done. What's up, Rams Nation? Anarch Enigma. Been subscribed for a while, first time in chat, chilling over here in South Carolina, representing the Rams. All right. Hey, good to see you, Anarch Enigma. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being part of Team Rams Talk. Yeah, South Carolina. All right. Rams fans everywhere. We have Rams fans in Germany, in Essen, here in Hanover, UK. Guys hit me up in Spain. I mean, it's a worldwide deal. So a lot of Rams fans all over the States too, which is great to see. So, yeah, you can drive with the knee, but otherwise give me the $2 million. Yeah, I mean, seriously, I think you can still drive a car with Terrell Lewis knee, but it's like, can you just do all those crazy athletic things, that those guys are doing, like going through the tires, like the old school stuff. Like, we don't need to do that. I don't even need to jog. I just, get an elliptical, right? Or a bike. You don't need a great knee. The unknown brick is back. It's been a while since I've seen the unknown brick. What's going on? Good to have you in here. Alex Aguirre, thoughts on our O-line? I think that it's all about Brian. I mean, honestly, though, it's not just about Brian Allen, because if Andrew Whitworth got hurt like he did last year for a few games or whatever, I think Joe Noteboom is a very solid replacement. I'm actually not too worried about that. I think David Edwards will be solid. I think Rob Havenstein will be solid. Corbett will be solid, but Brian Allen's the question mark. Spoke about that earlier. So, I mean, we just don't know what that's going to be. But, I think who's the spot starter other than Joe Noteboom? Is it Bobby Evans? Is it Tremaine Ingram? Coleman Shelton? I get Coleman Shelton and that other guy confused. There's like 2 offensive linemen that are almost like the same dude to me. See, I can't even remember the other guy. But yeah, my general thoughts on our O-line are, the O-line does, like, they can be top 10 and I'm happy with that. Just be top 10 and we're good. Alex, I know you're watching and you stink. Wow. Alex, I don't know what Luis has against you. Don't respond to Alex Aguirre. Okay. I don't know. What did Alex Aguirre do? He's a known criminal. Okay. All right. Well, I'm staying out of that. Rams fan from North Carolina here. So wait, there's South Carolina and there's North Carolina. So both Carolinas are represented in this chat from LA. So you grew up with the Mob Squad. All right, that's good. I'm from LA, so but hey, nothing against anyone not from LA that's a Rams fan. Like, just more fans in the community. That's all I'm saying. Worldwide, it's like you look at the Cowboys and the Yankees and the Lakers. They got fans in the whole world. So, you know, that's But I love to see North Carolina and South Carolina together. I tell you, I had a friend who went to UNC Chapel Hill, a friend who went to Duke, and I went and out and visited him a couple times in the college days. And the one thing I just had no idea about with the South until I got there was how much the Carolinas love biscuits. Like, seriously, love biscuits. Every place there, Biscuit House, Biscuit World, Land of Biscuits, and it's just insane. The biscuits, they're delicious, but the Carolinas love their biscuits. I'm sure you guys know this. How much usage do you see Jacob Harris getting this year? I think he gets maybe, I don't know how to say it, but like special packages, primarily red zone and maybe a few stretch the fields. But he's going to be special teams all the time. So he's on the coverage unit. So he's going to be playing in every game. But in terms of like the actual offense, not a lot. He'll get some, but not a lot. Watching the Cardinals game, Arizona looks pretty good. Yeah, they were looking good. I don't know what the score is in that one because I had to switch computers and turn off Game Pass. But yeah, maybe Tennessee is overrated. Every year 4 new teams make the playoffs. So is Tennessee the Tennessee can't really fall out because they play in the worst division. So they'll probably, but look at the Texans. Texans destroying the Jaguars, like destroying the Jaguars. Not like the Jaguars are great, but the Texans I thought were terrible. Like one of the worst rosters I've ever seen. Cardinals 31-13 on the Titans. Damn. Panthers beating Jets. Washington up on the Chargers. Oh God. Yeah. Anyone who comes and tells me that the Chargers are LA's real team, like, come on. I don't have anything against the Chargers, but let's just get real, please. Biscuits and gravy. You were born near LA, but moved to Ohio when you were 2. All right. Ohio is kind of weird, but no, nothing against Ohio. They love biscuits. Yep. There's a biscuit field pretty close by. See what I'm telling you? It's all about that. Ignore my Alex, a lovely Rams fan, bit of a bandwagon, but what can you do about that? Hey, jump on the wagon. It's all good. 31-13 Arizona. I didn't have a team in the NFL, just watched college for a long time. UFC Gamecocks fan. Told a friend if Rams moved back to LA, I would pull for them. So here you am. Yeah. And Gamecocks, you will appreciate this, but it was when the Rams drafted Brian Quick over Alshon Jeffrey. I remember going like, what are they doing? Because Alshon Jeffrey was like an epic college player at USC, and the Brian Quick was like Appalachian State, and I'm like, why didn't they get Alshon Jeffrey instead of Brian Quick? Can you imagine if the Rams had Alshon Jeffrey instead of Brian Quick back then? You followed the Gamecocks, yeah. See, exactly. Grandma made the best biscuits. It's just straight up biscuit time over there. How's Goff doing? Goff is not doing. The 49ers are winning that game 38-17. And I'm looking at some Goff stats here. 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, 155 passing yards. Of course, Jared Goff is going to have 155 passing yards. He's not going to throw the ball a lot, but or very far. But I think it's just been turnovers. Ooh, Deebo Samuel, 178 receiving yards. My goodness. What's your final score prediction for today? I'm thinking 30-17. Woods 1 TD, Jefferson a TD, Michelle a rush, Donald 2.5 sacks. I think I feel good going 27-13. 27-13. That's what I got. Feel good about that. Hey, I'll take more though. I'll take more. How bad was it for you and the LA natives here in chat when the Rams left for St. Louis? You became a fan when they were still playing there under Fisher. I have no alignment to either Steeler, so I'm curious. Well, I'm from LA, and I remember as a kid going to games in Anaheim. So like I followed them back in the Jim Everett days and the back when they were crappy with Jerome Bettis and um, I'm trying to remember some of the other guys. And then they moved to St. Louis, but I stayed with them because LA didn't have another team. The Raiders left the same year, and I wasn't a Raiders fan anyway. So I stayed with them when they were in St. Louis the whole time. When they came back, super stoked. So I've been Rams from LA to St. Louis, back to LA, even though I don't live in LA anymore. So yeah, I mean that was like just amazing. Them coming back. The Lions game, Goff was doing pretty good, but then he fell apart after the pick six. I mean, that's just Goff. Like honestly, the pick six. That's what he last year against San Francisco. The pick six. I mean, listen, Goff was the reason the Rams lost at least 3 games last year. The Miami game and both San Francisco games. That was Goff. Right? So, the Rams could easily have been 13-3 last year if someone just competent was playing. And not sorry, I take that back. I'm not a Goff hater, but like he's just trending in the wrong direction. You were 10, but devastated when they took off for St. Louis. Definitely going to a game this year. Yeah. But they're back. Yeah. I hope to get to a game this year as well. What's up, Ramley? I try to pay as many picks as I can on my Twitter. Los Rams. Yeah, do it. Rams 12th man. Do it. We want to see. Passing on Alshon is a big mistake. Oh, yeah, McVay completely misused Pharaoh Cooper. Oh, yeah, Pharaoh Cooper. But Pharaoh Cooper's bounced around, and Pharaoh Cooper also dropped 2 punts, fumbled 2 punts in that playoff game against the Falcons. So, I mean, come on, Pharaoh Cooper. Cool name. Cool. I mean, anyone who names their kid Pharaoh is, I mean, that's pretty dope. You're more crushed with how the Raiders left. The city wasn't doing too much for the Rams when they left, but the way Al Davis left pissed a whole lot of LA people off. Yeah, but I mean, that's Al Davis. He was always messing around. So, I mean, that's kind of just like that's the game that they play. And then I feel worse for Oakland than I do for LA when the Raiders left. The thing that bothers me about the NFL owners when they move teams because they don't get a stadium they like. Well, first of all, Stan Kroenke didn't do that. He just built the damn stadium. But I just find it so rich, literally, that owners who are worth $1 billion ask the taxpayers to pay for the new stadium and then pay to go see games in the new stadium. Hey, just give me something so I can make money off of you. I'm not, and that's what Al Davis did moving him to Vegas too. Because he couldn't get together private funding and build his own thing. Anyways. Jake Funk should be returning kicks instead of Tutu. Funk's tore his ACL twice when he returned kicks. That's true. But, he's got 2 ACLs still. I want to beat San Fran. Yep. I think we'll beat San Fran at least one time this year. Don't forget the Jets came here and he lost 2. But that Jets game was not all on Goff. There were drops in that game. Their defense, the Rams' defense, did not play well against the Jets in that game. There was more than that loss than just Goff. But yes, I mean the Rams as a whole just brain farted on that. Do you remember Todd Kitchen? Yep. The Todd, is it Kitchen or Kinchin? I do. I think you actually mentioned him before as well. I swear Goff owes somebody some money throwing games. One game he looked like the best and then lose the game in a couple of plays. Yeah. I mean, it's just playing quarterback is hard and either you have it or you don't. And Goff had it for a couple of years and now he doesn't. It's just that simple. You went to the wild card Falcons game and you saw those Pharaoh Cooper drops and you know the deal. Yep. Shane Hackett, you know the deal. Like that's why Stan Kroenke, I know people in St. Louis don't like him. But if you're a businessman and the Rams actually have a heritage in Los Angeles, and your franchise could value could increase by $1 billion or $1.5 billion just by moving it to LA. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Your entire family is in public education, so you see firsthand how our misguided budget allocations affect ordinary citizens. Oh man, let's not get started on that one. You'd think we'd have some oversight. right? But yeah, the bullet train. Stafford will throw 3 TDs. Do you agree? I agree, Rams house. I agree. I think 3 TDs is a very, very safe bet. Bam. And yeah, I have Cooper Cup on like all my fantasy teams. So I feel like, it's interesting because every day I'm like, oh, I think I sense a good connection between Stafford and Woods, or Stafford and Cup, or Stafford and Van Jefferson. I just feel like he's going to have a good connection with like all those dudes, and even Deshaun Jackson. Um, I just, I mentioned it before, but first play of the game, just give me a play action, bomb away. Deshaun Jackson, Tutu, Van Jefferson, Jacob Harris, Robert Woods, Cooper Cup. I don't care. I don't care. Just do it. Just do it. Titans just fumbled the ball. Tannehill got stripped. Yep. I mean, man, it's crazy. Farrell was way more than a punt receiver, though, is the problem. He was a receiver who had a couple passing TDs on top of rushing yards at USC. He did everything there. Yeah. Watch out for my boy Bobby Trees this year. I mean, they're all. It's hard for me to pick which Rams receiver is going to finish the season with the most stats, because I mean they're all really good. It could go any way, right? 3 TDs. I like the sound of that. Me too. Shane Waldron is really improving the Hawks' offense. Yep, that is totally true. Rams coaching staff has been poached like every year, like tons of guys, and they're making an impact. And Shane Waldron and even the assistant offensive line coach went to Seattle, I think. So their offensive coordinator last couple of years is Brian Schottenheimer. And the only reason why Brian Schottenheimer was still getting jobs is because his name was Schottenheimer. But he was terrible as a Rams offensive coordinator. He's never been that great. I think before that he was on the Jets. He's never been that great of an offensive play caller. He brings nothing creative to the table. Sorry, Brian Schottenheimer. Hope you're not watching this. Bobby Tree's going to go off. Cup has a great connection with Stafford. I have Kyler on my fantasy team, and he's rocking it. Got like 30 points off him. About to score again. That's what you're excited. Yep. Well, guys, I'm about to wrap it up. And TD Arizona. Boom. Who scored it? Did Kyler throw it or rush it? I guess 38-13. I mean, my goodness. Kyler 4 TDs. Jeez Louise. DeAndre 2 TDs. Man. I mean, it's just like beat down. Christian Kirk. Oh, yeah, no one's got Christian Kirk. But anyways, guys, thank you for stopping by the live stream. I really appreciate seeing all you guys. Some of the new ones in Germany, ones in the Carolinas, wherever you are. I appreciate you dialing in, and really, really stoked for the game tonight. And football's here. Like, I'm even stoked watching all these other games. I'm sure you guys are too. So I can get back to my red zone and then hit the hay. Well, hey, Anarch Enigma, you take care of yourself. And Unknown Break, take care of yourself as well. I appreciate it, everyone. Rams are going to win. I'm saying 27-13. I'll go with Rams house here. 3 touchdowns for Stafford. But yeah, hopefully we'll have a recap for you tomorrow when most of you guys wake up, hopefully. So enjoy the game, everyone. If you're going to the game, kick some ass. And as always, go Rams. Don't really kick anyone's ass, but you know what I mean? Keep it nice and clean. All right, guys. See ya.